All right. Good evening and welcome to the West Orange Board of Education Public Board meeting on Monday, April 15th, 2024. I would like to thank all of you here in person and those watching from home for joining us tonight. I'd like to welcome my fellow board members as well as Mr. Moore and Ms. Flowers. Ms. Flowers, would you please take the roll call?
Good evening, everyone. Roll call, please. Dr. Bryant.
Present.
Mr. Ifker.
Here.
Mr. Stevenson.
Here.
Ms. Vera.
Here.
Mr. Rock.
Here.
Thank you. Notice of meeting. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests are discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, a written notice was sent from the Office of the Secretary of the Board on February 27, 2024. That said notice was sent by regular mail to the West Orange Township Clerk and the editors of the West Orange Chronicle and by email to the Star Ledger. That said notice was posted in the lobby of the Administration Building of the Board of Education and posted on the district website. Please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and may be broadcasted on local TV and the district's website at a future date. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Ms. Flowers. In consideration of the closed and public meeting of March 18th, 2024, do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ifker. Any comments? Hearing no comments, Ms. Flowers, please take the roll call.
Dr. Bryant.
Here.
Mr. Ifker.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Vice President Vera.
Yes.
President Rock.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. And good evening to our student liaisons, Layla Abanaja and Kanai James. Would you two please share your student liaison report with us, please?
On March 26th, the West Orange girls basketball team paid a meaningful visit to Kelly Elementary School to inspire the youth during Women's History Month. Also on March 26th, the West Orange High School Wind Ensemble gained an astonishing gold rating at the North Jersey School Music Association Region Concert Band Festival. On April 3rd, West Orange Public Schools District was once again named the 2024 Best Communities for Music Education in the nation by the National Association of Music Merchants. Thank you to our amazing music staff for their support throughout the years. The United States Marines brought the heat to West Orange High School gym classes, challenging students with drills and competitions on April 5th. Roosevelt Middle School is putting on an amazing youth production titled Once Upon a Mattress on April 18th to 20th at 7 p.m. Come check it out.
Liberty Middle School is presenting Mean Girls Junior on April 25th to the 27th, and Edison Middle School is performing Matilda Junior on May 3rd and 4th. Spring sports are off to a start, and with only a little over 2 months left of the school year, seniors are getting ready for graduation. West Orange High School students will be participating in a joint campus cleanup with Seton Hall Prep students for Earth Day, Monday, April 22nd after school, and all students are encouraged to help out. Seniors have begun making their college decisions, and you can go follow our decision Instagram, West Orange High School Decisions 24. Thank you.
Thank you both. All right, Mr. Moore, it is now time for your report. Would you please share your superintendent's report?
Thank you, President Rock. Tonight, we have the pleasure of recognizing the outstanding work of our students involved in the Youth Advisory Board. At this time, I ask that Principal Guerrero please join us at the podium so we can recognize these fine students.
Good evening, everyone. We have some amazing students at West Orange High School, and we often recognize some of our best athletes or students that perform in the arts. and obviously the many academic achievements of our students. But it's equally as important to recognize our students who work hard to make our community a better and, in this case, safer place. I would like to call up the president of the Nikhil Badlani Foundation, Mr. Sunil Badlani, to speak a little bit more about our Youth Advisory Board and the amazing work that they've been doing.
Thank you, Principal Guerrero, for the introduction. Sorry. Oh, okay. So, my better half and the force behind the foundation is traveling and presenting at the Kansas Department of Transportation on the power of traffic advocacy, so she could not be here today. So you get me? I'm sure it won't come as a surprise to anyone to know that traffic crashes are the leading cause of death in teenagers. Obviously, you've got gun violence and mental health and as close seconds. But last year alone, in 2021, actually, about 28,000 crashes involved teenagers between 16 and 20. And at a national level, it's about 8 teenagers a day who die. Just absorb those numbers across the country, that is, not just in New Jersey. Now, the underlying reason for these alarming high statistics is the lack of experience behind the wheel in these young drivers. But who better to advocate for the safety of these young drivers than the teenagers themselves? Now, at the heart of our mission lies the recognition that the voices and contributions of our young people are essential in shaping the policies that directly impact their lives and communities. So we piloted the Youth Advisory Board in 2020 with the goal of empowering students to make a difference in their communities and provide them a platform to express their views on traffic safety. Since then, this program's expanded to Indian Hills and Burlington High. And our goal is to really keep this, spread this, have multiple organizations across the state so they can work together and in concert really impact safety across the state. So that's an end vision. And advocates and organizations such as AAA have been advocating for the 50 practice hour legislations, believe it or not, since 2008. When a study conducted by the NHTSA, that's a National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, they revealed they did a study which revealed that this was the weak link in the New Jersey driver's ed program. So our students started working on the campaign to get this bill passed in 2000, and then 2001 was the first time they actually testified in the assembly. And it took 4 graduating groups and a lot of hard work and patience for the bill to be signed into law. So my congratulations to you for the incredible work. And to let you know how it happened, I'll have Krish from Youth Advisory Board come in and share how they went about it. Thank you.
Oh, God. I have it right here. Yeah. Good evening. My name is Krish Patel. I'm a junior here at West Orange High School, and I'm also a part of the Youth Advisory Board. So today we will be talking about what we have accomplished this year, like all the different committees in our club, and what we plan to do to finish off the year. All right, so our mission is to make a difference in our community through policy and changes in through education, through road safety and advocacy, right? We want to make traffic safety a known issue, like throughout the town, throughout the state, etc. We have 3 committees in our club: policy, municipal, and education. I am a part of the policy committee. This year, we advocated for the 50-hour practice hour bill. We made several trips to Trenton. Me and a few other members of the club testified on behalf of this bill. What this bill does is require permit holders between the age of 16 and 21 who don't have their probationary license to do 50 hours of practice driving with the supervisor with 10 hours at night. With this bill being passed, we hope to reduce that number of teen-related accidents that happen on a daily basis. We testified before the Senate Transportation Committee, the Senate Budget and Appropriations Committee, the Assembly Transportation Committee, and on January 8th, 2024, the bill was signed into law by Governor Murphy.
Hi, I'm part of the education committee, but I'll be talking about the municipal committee. Our goal is to engage our community to promote traffic safety. We've collaborated with the West Orange Pedestrian Safety Board and West Orange Police Department, and then we've generated solutions with local traffic safety leaders, and we've addressed community road traffic issues, and we actually created the first ever street mural to slow down traffic. Oh, sorry. These are some of the accomplishments that we've accomplished. We were awarded $10,000 in cash prize for the last 3 years. We provided free behind the wheel lessons to 20 students, and we continue to offer the scholarships to our seniors. Some other accomplishments: we hosted 2 traffic safety fairs. We collaborated with Easy Ride for bike safety skills and learn to ride lessons. We also had booth, raffle prizes, and fun activities, and we curated a mural with local participants, and you can see in some of the pictures here. Some more accomplishments. We reached the West Orange Gold level recognition from New Jersey Safe Routes to School program, and we participated and conducted a school-wide audit on transportation means to and from school.
Hello, my name's April. I am part of the education committee, and I want to talk about how the youth advisory board chose a new route. This year, we tried something new. We did the traffic safety week. It was to spread awareness and educate others in the high school about pedestrian and driver safety. The topics that we tried to talk about was speed regulations, distracted driving, substance awareness, pedestrian and bike safety. In doing so, we offered this raffles and prizes, and in return, they submitted forms. We gathered over 200 responses from students, and on average, students who filled out our post served got 83 correct.
All right. Along with the Youth Advisory Board and the 2 committees, we also have the Education Committee. This year, they made several trips to elementary schools all around West Orange to inform those children of pedestrian safety, bus safety, etc. We incorporated a mural design for students at some of the schools, I believe, and we project to present to local elementary schools furthermore this year. All right. So for upcoming plans, we want to obviously continue advocating for traffic safety, present to elementary schools, and finally present our final presentation to You Got Brains contest, which we have for the last couple of years. And you can keep up with everything that we do on our Instagram, NB, Nakib Bilani Foundation Youth Advisory Board. Yeah.
No, I haven't done. And a little surprise for our youth advisory members from AAA.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us here tonight. My name is Tracy Noble, and I am the Public and Government Affairs Manager for AAA Mid-Atlantic. And I have had the honor and the privilege of working with the Youth Advisory Board for the course of the last 4 years. So during the height of the pandemic, I testified side by side with the students via Zoom. Then we moved to a very limited audience testimony, masks included, back at the State House, where the students were grilled and held their own. This is one of the most impressive groups of students I have ever come in contact with, and you guys should be beyond proud. When I tell you their dedication, their follow-up, their just drive to do this. So initially, the practice hours, which we all now know for the GDL, that was a recommendation that came out of the Teen Driver Study Commission in 2007. So the first time it was up before the legislature was 2008. It took the entire time that a person could get their license to get this passed. And I honestly don't know if it would have been done without the dedication and the life experience of the Youth Advisory Board. When I tell you, they changed the mind of senators who were going to vote no. They walked into that committee room and the senator said, "You changed my mind. I came in here today planning to vote no on this legislation." And they changed minds. So I am beyond proud to have worked with you. You guys are going to do amazing things as you leave West Orange into your next endeavors. And with that, I'm going to let Lauren say a few words, and then I would like to give you something.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Paterno. I'm with AAA Northeast. I just want to say that I'm a newbie to New Jersey. And when I came in here, I said to Tracy, I was like, we're going to get this legislation done. And it would not have been possible without the group of students that are here tonight. When they came in to testify, and I was thinking about myself at 16 years old, no way would I have been able to get up there and speak so confidently and with such fruition the way that they did. And they made a significant difference, as Tracy said, in terms of how this legislation was able to get to the finish line. So you guys should really be so proud of yourselves, because it would not have happened if you guys weren't there every step of the way testifying. So again, congratulations. And you guys have been part of the process. Don't stop. There are other legislative initiatives you can undertake, and this is only the beginning for you all.
Okay, so my name's Shawnee Jarvis. I'm the outreach manager for AAA Northeast. And while I definitely defer to Tracy and Lauren on legislative affairs, I just wanted to say how proud I am of you as well, because I have watched them work with you for the last 4 years. And I have never been so proud of a group of students to be able to sit in front of senators and legislators and speak so eloquently. And they said it as well, but you helped us. You helped this bill pass. And so you should be very proud of yourselves.
And with that, I would like to present the Youth Advisory Board with a governor-signed copy of the bill that is made out to the West Orange High School Youth Advisory Board. You've made this a reality in remembrance of Nikhil. Stay strong. Sincerely, Governor Phil Murphy.
I just wanted to take 2 seconds to say thank you to the students and to Mr. Pigney. Thank you so much. And of course, Mr. Badlani, who we've had a long time relationship with, and, you know, we're so proud. But students, I know that I'm speaking for Mr. Guerrero as well. I'm so proud to be a Mountaineer alongside you guys. What you did was no small feat. But once again, you're a stellar example of what it means to be a Mountaineer and a West Orange student. We really appreciate what you've done. Thank you for the example you've set, and thank you for the initiative. It's a very important initiative, and I appreciate it. So we're very proud of you. Thank you. Okay, moving right along to my report. Is the HIB report. Since our last board meeting, there have been 2 HIB investigations. I reviewed the summary of the investigation. Throughout the district, 1 has been determined and founded. I concur with the findings presented by our anti-bullying specialist. President Rock, that concludes my report this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Moore, and the rest of your team for that presentation and those updates. And congratulations again to the Youth Advisory Board. When professionals get things through Trenton, it's impressive. So when you guys as high school students can actually get something done down there, it's even more so. As a former civics teacher, I appreciate the work that you are doing. With that, we'll move to committee reports from the board. I think Mr. Ifker had something to share.
Thank you. Just very briefly, since the last meeting, a couple things. Number one is I had the pleasure of continuing our tour of schools. This time, extra special pleasure with Vice President Maria Vera. We went to Roosevelt and walked around, and it was, you know, it's great to go to all the schools. It's especially great when it's a school where your child has been. And we saw, along with Mr. Hush, a couple of my son's old teachers, and they remembered him, and we remembered them. And it was really special. And actually, one of the teachers, Mr. Jay Wecht, asked me to come sit in on his class. He was teaching them about the Holocaust. And it turns out that I do a little bit of work with Holocaust survivors. So it was so meaningful to me, and I hope the students got a little bit more out of it. But it was really a very special day. When we were there, we heard a little bit more about the traffic issues and the drop-off safety issues that they're having there, plus some emails from parents. So fast forward to this morning where we were able to bring all the parties together, and there was a meeting with parents, Nicole Rufo, Shannon Breen, and the Traffic Safety Bureau and the engineering department of the town, and of course, Mr. Hush running the show. And I think they're going to get something done. And this is exactly the way I think it's supposed to be. There's a problem. Everybody's involved, the town, the Board of Ed, the superintendent. And I expect that this is the safety issue at Roosevelt is going to be resolved fairly quickly. And next month, hopefully, the vice president and I will be headed to Kelly Elementary School. Thank you.
Anything from Mr. Stevenson?
No reports.
Dr. Bryan or Ms. Farah? Anything? Nope. All right. Thank you. I'd like to share a brief note from my board president's report with all of you now. The New Jersey Department of Ed has released the 2022-23 school performance reports. Our Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, Ms. Ebony DeMendez, presented the 22-23 results for West Orange at our November 13th Board of Ed meeting. Please note that the school performance reports summarizing these and additional school-related data can be accessed through the district's website. The other thing I wanted to take a minute to talk about was the schools or the state school funding formula. When the aid numbers were released back in February, we were met with the news that we were going to lose $700,000. Like many of you, I was kind of perplexed by that. We had all, in speaking with the administration and my fellow board members, expected to receive additional aid this year. At first, there were not a lot of explanations for why that was, but after looking into the data and having some conversations, I've come to a better understanding of how it works. And it is quite flawed how it works, but we've unfortunately been the victim of a formula that's got some flaws in it. So I wanted to take a minute just to explain that for transparency's sake so that my board members understand how the formula works, as well as anybody that's watching from home. And I'll start this by saying that the formula is complex. There's a lot of data that goes into it. So if anybody's really interested, we can have a longer conversation. I'm going to try to boil this down to less than 5 minutes and just hit on kind of the big ideas of what's going on in West Orange and around the state. And so what you need to kind of basic fundamental idea understand about the funding formula is that there's 4 big buckets of money that a district can potentially get. The biggest one is called equalization aid. Then the other 3 are called special ed categorical aid, transportation aid, and security aid. Those other 3 are largely driven by enrollment. So if your enrollment goes up, you potentially get more aid to support special ed programs, transportation, security. If your enrollment goes down, you potentially lose some of that. The other thing is that over the last 7 years, that part of the funding formula has been being phased in. So we never got 100% of that. No one across the state did, and they've been phasing that in. But that only represented about 1/3 of the money that we received from the state. The majority of our aid came through what's called equalization aid. That's calculated based on 2 numbers. So the essential promise is that if the district raises what's called the local fair share, what the state decides based on its formula, we can afford to raise in property taxes. They'll calculate what they think is the basic cost of an education, what's called the adequacy budget. Whatever the difference is, they provide an aid. Now, that was a promise they made back in 2007 when they wrote this formula. They never fully funded it. So there were fluctuations in there that nobody really realized until this year when throughout the state, people hit their full equalization aid or full equalization aid, and some of those fluctuations started to appear. And so what happens is the 2 numbers in there can kind of go up and down independently, but the adequacy budget itself is largely driven by what they call the base cost. The district looks at how much it costs across the state to educate people. That number has gone up 5.8% when you compare last year to this year. So that's kind of the inflation number if you want to think about how much it increases to spend just to provide the same education. Then there's enrollment, which goes into that. So our weighted enrollment went up about 1%. So our adequacy budget, what the state said, it should cost you X to educate the kids in West Orange, went up about 6.9% last year to this year. So everything else stays the same. That would mean we'd get more money. Our adequacy budget goes up. They fill in kind of the hole that's left by that. The problem is the other piece of the formula, which is our local fair share. And so that's calculated based on the equalized value in town, the value of all property in town, and the aggregate income of everybody that lives in town. Those 2 numbers, each at 50%, make up how they calculate this local fair share. The kind of nitty gritty isn't important, but if those numbers go up faster than the adequacy budget, what happens is your local fair share goes up quicker than the adequacy budget, and that difference goes down. If you look at last year to this year, the equalized valuation of property in town went up about 7 or 8%. Our income, I don't know who made an extra $500 million last year, but if you have some of that and want to give it to us, we'll take it. But apparently our income as a town went up $500 million or 15%. So because of that, our adequacy budget went up $9 million, but our local fair share went up $12 million. So that actually ate into what we should have gotten by $3.5 million. Those other 3 buckets of aid also went up a little bit. They went up 2.8 million. So the net impact on us that we see is $700,000 being taken away, when in reality, if our local fair share and adequacy budget had kind of stayed at the same level and our equalization aid had stayed the same, we'd really be getting about $3.5 million as opposed to losing $700,000. So that in West Orange is what's happened. If you look across the state, we're not alone. There's a small group of districts, about 50 to 75. They kind of fit the same classification as us. They're largely suburban districts that still get equalization aid because they can't afford through local property taxes to pay the full rate of what it costs to educate our kids. But because of fluctuations in either their equalized value or their income, they lost a significant amount of equalization aid. At this point, we're in conversations with our legislators here in West Orange to try to get the state to do something about that. There is a bill that's in the legislature. The text of it as written today probably would not help us. It probably would help some other districts that have seen a much more drastic cut. But that's kind of the basic explanation of what's happening, because I know we were perplexed when we saw that cut. I know other people had kind of raised the question on social media or in conversations privately with board members. Just wanted to kind of explain that a little bit. And again, I don't want to take up an hour and do a fancy PowerPoint, but if you do have questions about how the aid formula is calculated, you want to understand some more about that, I'm happy to, whether it's with my fellow board members or someone in the community that wants a detailed discussion of that, we can get together over coffee and talk about it. So unless there's any questions from the board members, that would conclude my board president's report. All right. Next, we will have questions from the public on agenda items only. Any community member who would like to make comments or ask questions, please come to the podium at this time. Please state your name and home address for the record, then begin your comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Do we have any members of the public here in the audience tonight who want to make a public comment? All right, well, we will move on to our resolutions then. May I have a motion to approve the personnel items A1 through A6? So, thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Bryant. May I have a motion, or sorry, that was motion and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? No. I want to congratulate the following retirees: Kathy Del Tufo, an academic supporter at Washington Elementary, for her 27 years of service. Anna Flores, our assistant business administrator at Central Office, for her 8 years of service. Matt Salzman, who works in special ed at West Orange High School, for his 25 years of service. And Annette Townsend, acting director of human resources and assistant principal, for her 26 years of service. Thank you all for your service to the West Orange students and our school community. Best wishes to you and welcome to the club where every day is Saturday. With that, Ms. Flowers, would you please take the roll?
Dr. Bryant,
Yeah, here.
Mr. Ifker,
Here.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Vice President Vera,
Yes.
President Rock.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, may I have a motion to approve the curriculum and instruction items B1 through B3?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Ippinger. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Flowers, please take the roll call.
Dr. Bryant,
Yes.
Mr. Ifker,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Vice President Vera,
Yes.
President Rock.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, next, may I have a motion to approve the finance items, C, special services item A1, and business office items B1 through 12?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Vera. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Flowers, please take the roll call.
Dr. Bryant,
Yes.
Mr. Ifker,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Vice President Vera,
Yes.
President Rock.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, and lastly, may I have a motion to approve reports, items D1 through 2?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ifker. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Flowers, please take the roll call.
Dr. Bryant,
Yes.
Say.
Mr. Ifker,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Vice President Vera,
Yes.
President Rock.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much to all my board colleagues for that. Next up, we have petitions and hearings of citizens for any agenda or non-agenda item that you wish to discuss. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Please approach the podium at this time. State your name and address for the record.
On. There we go. Thank you. Good evening. I have these copies in case the board members want to see what I'm referring to. You do not have to, but. Good evening. My name is Mira Franowitz. I reside at 28 Ridgeview Avenue, West Orange, New Jersey. And while I am a West Orange Schools employee, I am also a resident and a parent of a West Orange Schools student, and it's under that hat that I am here today. I'm here today to express my dire concern over the possible reduction of force in our school library program, specifically in the middle school realm. While I recognize that nothing is set in stone yet, I urge you to consider preserving what we have left. The West Orange Schools Library Program has taken a number of hits in the past 13 years. The removal of our library aide who assisted with shelving, covering, vital tasks that allowed our media specialists to conduct and manage the library as needed. The removal of the itinerant librarian, happened recently who took on classes at our larger schools to ensure that our school media specialists were able to conduct classes as necessary and manage their rooms. The shortening of all our elementary library classes. Kindergarten is now 30 minutes. First through fifth is only 40 minutes rather than a full period in order to fit more classes in the day. I've spoken with some of our media specialists at the elementary level, and it's my understanding that some now teach as many as 7 classes in a day, which will contribute to burnout, and I hope that's not true. Furthermore, I'm concerned about equity, equality, and access for all of our students, especially now that the public library is so challenging to access for many of our West Orange residents. The school libraries are needed more than ever for curious and growing minds. If the school libraries are not open daily, this will very likely increase the achievement gap. And why? Because at our middle schools, 2 of our libraries are off the beaten path. Unless your destination is the library, you likely won't see it or have a need to be near it. The more a child tries to go to the library and it's closed, the more likely it is that that child will stop trying. If my pleas aren't enough, then I implore you to consider the data that I've provided you today. In what I am giving you tonight, you will see the studies that show the direct correlation between having certified media specialists with literacy and test scores. Test scores have been a heated topic of interest in our township over the past several years. So why would we remove the media specialists from our schools when there is a direct evidence that their work improves test scores as well as graduation rates, even when controlling for both school size and income levels? I would like to point out that Bill number 2316 that is currently in the New Jersey Senate will require a certain number of certified library staff per school building based on population. I have provided that bill for you if you wish to reference it. It's item 2, line 13, that in each public school having an enrollment between 300 and 1,400 students of October 15th, the prior school year, the Board of Ed shall employ a minimum of 1 full-time staff member who holds a library media specialist endorsement. As of now, we're already in compliance, but the removal of even 1 member will, I lost my spot, of 1 talented, high-performing individual will have to be replaced as soon as the bill is made into law. As my time is running low, I wish to remind you that library serves many purposes, from literacy events as book fairs, giveaways, author visits, and battles to partnerships with our other educators to create engaging cross-curricular lessons enriched with information literacy, digital media education, and perhaps the most important of all, a zone where every student is on even footing and a safe space for those who need a moment of solace during the school day. Thank you.
Lisa Tuzo, 15 Carter Road, Liberty School Library Media Specialist. Good evening, Mr. Moore and members of the Board of Education. As a lifelong resident of West Orange with deep family roots in our community, I have witnessed the evolution of our public school system over generations. I am here to express my concerns regarding the recent challenges facing our middle school library media specialists. The role of the librarians extends far beyond the books. We are educators, curators, and advocates for our students' academic success, despite facing numerous challenges, including staff reductions and position eliminations. We remain steadfast in our commitment to provide the highest level of education. Research consistently demonstrates the positive impact of a full-time librarian on student achievement. From fostering digital literacy lessons to promoting a love of literature, our contributions are invaluable to the educational experience. Our libraries are safe havens for students, providing social and emotional support in addition to academic resources. We spearhead innovative initiatives such as makerspaces that can promote critical thinking and problem-solving skills that are essential in the children's future in the workforce. CUSAC underscores the importance of providing library media services connected to the classroom studies in every school building. Yet our department continues to face threats to its existence, jeopardizing the well-being of our students and the integrity of our educational mission. You tell the parents you do not want to affect the classroom learning, but that is in fact what you are doing. My teachers rely on my resources and expertise to inform their instruction. Without a librarian in every school, there will be a negative impact on student learning. I urge you to review the librarian's presentation to the board, which was sent to you this afternoon by myself. It outlines the vital role of school library media specialists in our school district. Let's not overlook the dire implications of neglecting the library media centers, particularly during this school library month. I implore you to stand with us to safeguard the future of our students and the vitality of our school libraries. Thank you for listening.
Good evening, Superintendent Moore, members of the board. My name is Patty Richardson, and I'm an 8th grade teacher at Liberty Middle School, serving this community for over 20 years. I felt compelled to speak tonight to address the possibility of eliminating library media specialist positions within the district. More specifically, the thought of eliminating a library media specialist position at the middle school level is absolutely heartbreaking and would negatively impact our students and staff. As an ELA teacher, I do not know where I would be without the help, support, collaboration of our library media specialist, Mrs. Lisa Tuzo. She has been an absolute blessing and lifeline for the faculty and staff and children of Liberty Middle School. She is the heart of our building, nurturing lifelong learning while also creating a special place in the hearts of our children and staff. One could make the assumption that library media specialists are not teachers and are easily replaceable. I'm here to tell you unequivocally that is the furthest thing from the truth. Mrs. Lisa Tuzo is an extraordinary library media specialist who at a moment's notice will have the necessary resources for any teacher within the building when tasked, and is always willing to assist not only the teachers and staff, but our students as well. Mrs. Tuzo is one of a few teachers within our building who teaches every student as English language arts and social studies classes alike go to the library on a monthly basis at both grade levels to participate in carefully designed lessons. These lessons include use of online databases and ebooks, having students create their own reading equations, celebrating their creativity and imagination about reading, creating blackout poetry, understanding fake news and media bias, and recognizing AI, just to name a few. If that were not enough, Ms. Tuzo puts together a monthly newsletter filled with resources while also highlighting special events within the school. She creates month-long interactive daily calendars celebrating Black History Month and Women's History Month in particular. The list goes on. With all this being said, the most important role of Mrs. Tuzo's job at Liberty Middle School is getting books into the hands of our students, especially those who need to feel like the characters in the books they are reading, especially at the middle school level where students are trying to figure out who they are and where they fit in. Why would we want to eliminate this experience and opportunity for our students? How are we as teachers supposed to build rigor within our classrooms, having our students read every day if the materials and books necessary are not available to us because there is no one in the library to fill these needs? In the words of Judy Bloom, librarians save lives by handing the right book at the right time to a kid in need. Our library media specialists have saved our lives time and time again. Now it is our time to do the same for them and save theirs. Please keep the heart of our buildings intact. Please keep Mrs. Lisa Tuzo at Liberty Middle School. Thank you.
Good evening, Joyce Soto, 16 Prospect Place. I am also a librarian here in town, but tonight I speak to you as an up and coming 5th grade parent who will be going into the middle school with the possibility of not having access to the library as our students currently do. With the elimination of a position at the middle school level, we will be doing a disservice to our students. My son may not feel the impact like some of his other friends that are in his school, because not all of our students here in West Orange have access to the West Orange Public Library, where they can go and get some resources that they may not have access to in school. And now we are looking to take away the opportunity that they have to go and speak with a certified school librarian to get the resources that they need to explore their interest and to build upon what they have been learning in the middle school. It is going to be a disservice to those students, and I stand here and speak on behalf of those parents who may never be able to come to a board meeting because they are not able to, and they are not able to bring those resources to their children. Our school media librarians, especially at the middle school level, they are preparing our students for when they are coming up here to the high school and on to life as well. We need to really take into effect what is going to be the impact of removing the media librarian at the middle school level. For example, we will not have the courses where they can have time to have critical thinking, where they can explore their curiosity and their lifelong learning and establishing their inclusivity. Librarians and libraries are a safe place for them in the middle school, especially as they're transitioning in that 6th grade level. I implore you to take a look at the studies that Ms. Franowitz has shared with you, and to keep in mind how our libraries help our children with research and confirms their values as they are growing and becoming their own people. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay, got this. Hi, my name is Molly Eisen. I live at 242 Gregory Avenue, and I'm also a teacher at Edison Middle School. So I feel like I'm living in Groundhog Day. Every few years, it seems like the district tries to eliminate a library media specialist position, and every time there's an outcry. So here we go again. Leaving each middle school without a full-time librarian in each building is foolish, short-sighted, and a deficit to students and teachers alike. The LMCs are welcoming places that for many students also provide a place of refuge. I would know. I was one of those kids for whom the LMC was home. And I still get that same feeling when I walk into the LMC, just as I did 15 years ago. And watching my students get the same feeling is one of the most rewarding parts of my job. There's a certain feeling when you walk into any library in the West Orange School District. It's calm, it's safe, it's welcoming. I am a special education language arts teacher, and many of my students are reluctant readers. Reading is something they've struggled with throughout their schooling, and for which they put up a wall every time the prospect of reading a book comes up, which is, ELA pretty much every day. When they come to the LMC, their whole demeanors change. You can see them visibly relax and let their guards down. This atmosphere, this vibe, is a true statement to the care and love the library media specialists put into their work. There are few things more gratifying than being able to share that love of libraries with my students. According to Common Sense Media, nearly half of 17-year-olds say they read for pleasure no more than 1 or 2 times a year, if that. As an ELA teacher, that hurts my heart and soul. One way to prevent this, have daily open access to a library and library media specialists from when they are young. Common Sense Media also reported that 11 is a critical age for setting reading habits for the rest of one's life. Guess what type of school they're in at age 11? Middle school, even though they think they're high schoolers most of the time. It makes zero sense for any librarian position, let alone one who works with students when they are at such an impressionable age, to be cut. On another note, research demonstrates over and over that students in schools staffed with a full-time librarian achieve higher scores on standardized tests. How many more times does the Board of Ed need to hear that cutting library media specialists is a bad idea? These are the individuals who stepped in and stepped up when the town's public library was closed. They are the reason that many students all over town kept reading. I implore you to ask yourselves what kind of message you are sending to the students and community when librarians are treated as dispensable. It's not a positive one. This is not what West Orange should be doing, especially during National School Library Month. This is no way to celebrate and recognize our amazing school library media specialists. Thank you.
Sharon Ortiz, Lowell Avenue, and an 18-year educator at the high school. Good evening, Mr. Moore and esteemed Board of Ed members. As a community member and taxpayer, I appreciate the Board of Education being fiscally responsible and prudently managing our expenses.
I come to you with two areas of concern, however. Concern number one, in light of the universal preschool mandate and the associated cost of busing and outsourcing to neighboring towns to educate our West Orange preschoolers, I'd like to ask if we are working towards a more permanent solution to educating our West Orange preschoolers here in our town. And if so, is repurposing the board office as a preschool-only building an option that is being considered? My second area of concern is I am confused and concerned by the possibility, once again, of the elimination of our valuable library media specialists. They play a very important role in our education team as a valuable resource to myself and colleagues and in the lives of our students, both inside and outside of the classroom. They are more than line items, and they offer more value than whatever savings and salaries the Board of Education will realize. My colleagues, many of whom live in West Orange, as you heard, work very hard and make valuable contributions to our children and staff. They deserve praise, appreciation, and the ability to continue to enhance our West Orange school community and the education of our students. Good evening, and I thank you for your consideration and look forward to your answers.
Good evening, Jason Jackson, 25 Westview Road, teacher here at the high school in the Career and Technical Education Department, as well as cross-country and track and field coach. First, I wasn't going to mention, but President Rock, when you were kind of explaining and giving the breakdown of the funds and how everything works, as a visual learner, I was trying to picture it. And when you was like, oh, if we had this on the slide presentation, this would be great. So definitely want to take you up on that just so I can kind of piece things together and see it. It was really good as you were explaining it. I understood, but would like to be able to visually see it. I was here today on another note, wanted to come and kind of find out what was going on in terms of the finances and different things which I heard about, but wanted to just kind of switch gears a little bit. And we had professional development today. My supervisor, Nancy Mullen, who's also over library and media sciences, we had Dr. Candace Bland that was in. It was amazing, right? So most times PD, when we have it, you know, it's tough, right? You don't know when you're bringing somebody in how well they're going to do, but today she was amazing, right? So it was teaching strategies to support multilingual learners, grades 6 through 12. And so I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to Ms. Mullen and whoever else helped to put that PD together. It was really, really good. I will come back to talk more about kind of chat GPT, lesson plan, student works, and how we kind of view that whole thing. And I think more of us embracing it, because I know a lot of individuals are looking at it as a negative, and I think we really need to embrace that. Last week, we had a CTE annual business forum, and one of our student liaisons was, I'm not sure if anybody talked about this, but actually spoke alongside of a few alumni and individuals that were there, and it was really great. Ms. Hanson, Ann Hanson, that's in the department, helped put it together, and just great to see. I've had Layla in class, and so to see both of them sitting here, just wanted to kind of give both of you, just really proud to see them grow and do very, very well. And then lastly, not related, just want to say congratulations on completing the Jersey City Marathon yesterday to President Rock. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Kaiser. I'm a resident of West Orange and a proud member of the Edison family. So the beauty of having a Central 6 middle school is the ways in which students are empowered to find out more about who they are. And they're able to do that by connecting with diverse voices and points of view from individuals of different backgrounds, of different places, of different worlds. They do that through their connection with the library, and more specifically through the library media specialists, like those not only at Edison, shout out Sandy, but at Roosevelt and Liberty as well. Earlier this year, as the West Orange Public Library opened, I offered my students an opportunity for extra credit. Go to the library, take a selfie, prove that you were there, easy 100, easy peasy lemon squeezy. If the grade was not incentive enough, I think some of the incentives included unlimited manga and Minecraft, as long as you could. And while many students were very interested in that latter part, many students voiced that they were unable to go at all. The majority, in fact, were not able to participate in this extra credit opportunity. Lack of transportation, the conflict with personal and athletic schedules after school, and the ways in which their grown-ups have work prevented them from being able to engage in the most simplest of joys, right? Existing in their public library. The LMC, more specifically, the LMC specialists, make this possible not only for extra credit, but on the daily, engaging students in fantastical fictional adventures to engaging the future engineers of our town through Makerspace. The LMC provides students the space to develop their perspectives and points of view that allow them to grow into the incredible high school students that we heard from earlier tonight, those who are literally changing the future. I encourage you to reconsider any type of elimination of any LMC specialist position, and more so look to you to continue to invest in the future of literacy and intellectual curiosity in our town, in our community.
Right. Thank you all for that. Is there anyone else for public comment? All right. Seeing none, Mr. Morty, do you want to say something about the?
So let me start with, I'm in full agreement with you. I've known many of you for many years, and I'm in full agreement that our library media specialists are vital. I also want to make clear that any positions through this particular unprecedented budget and any cuts are across all departments from administration throughout, it wouldn't just be library media and I'm not saying that's the cut, but I'm saying it wouldn't be just them. It wouldn't be just music. It wouldn't be just math. It wouldn't be just English. But I will say you're absolutely right that it's tough to make any of these decisions as they all impact student achievement. And from some of the esteemed people that spoke and advocated for the librarian, they're excellent teachers. And the librarians they were speaking about do make that difference. And I want to say that to the community because of who they are. So losing anyone is not a choice, and we do not want that. I don't want to make promises that I cannot keep. But what I will say is I don't disagree with what you said. I do have to make tough decisions as I sit before you. I was on the other side and I understand how that feels. And that for sure doesn't feel good. But I will have to make some difficult decisions going forward that you may agree with and you may not agree with. But I will promise you my commitment is to make sure that I can fulfill as many jobs as I possibly can. Employment is very important, and I want to make sure I can do that. And with this budget, I will not tell you that that is 100%. I cannot promise you that as I'm looking through it and I'm working with real numbers. I'm transparent with the union with it. We are in a deficit. But I don't want you to think things fall in deaf ears. And I am the first to admit to this community, whatever cuts are going, it is tough on student achievement, and especially losing a library media specialist. It's not something we wanted to consider. But we are at a real point. And I have to address that as such. In terms of our preschool and the added costs with busing and all, yes, we've encumbered some cost. Right now, are we in plans of making sure that we have a preschool right under one roof or that we can do? To answer that question, we explored it. This budget definitely is not going to help us with that, so we won't be able to do that in the present. We looked at the office at Eagle Rock and asked our architect on what that would be like to maybe transform that. As we understand that our students are the priority, our staff is the priority. The problem is it will not be able to do as such because there are certain regulations that the building does not have that we will not be able to do that and convert Eagle Rock. So we would have to look for a new situation for that. There are many different fiscal endeavors that we're coming up with and we're going to face. I will say President Rock has a way better handle on talking about that as we talk to senators and other people as we're trying to procure some more money, because we can use it. But that hasn't been the case. So I have to prepare for where I'm at right now. But I don't want you to think I don't appreciate the advocacy, because I do. And I don't want you to think that I feel anyone's indispensable. They're not. I don't feel that about the librarians or all the other departments as well that will be losing positions. But I don't want to make false promises, and I don't want to tell you something that isn't going on. That is what's going on. There are tough decisions to make at the end. It's a tough budget. But I will go back and speak to the team of the board as well, and we'll discuss as we wrote some of the things down. And we'll talk, but I cannot make you a promise that there won't be some things you will agree with and some things you won't agree with. Okay. Thank you, President Lowe.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. And I'll just echo what Mr. Moore says, that as an educator, and many of us have some relation to the education profession up here, we understand the value of what you all do, you know, from the janitor and the bus aide through the school librarian to the school counselor to the classroom teacher. So we don't take any of these decisions lightly. You know, we don't want to cut any positions at all. We're faced with the harsh reality of the funding issue from the state, and that's putting pressure on our budget. We're doing what we can to move other monies around to handle that in some ways. But at the end of the day, there's going to be, you know, the administration has presented some scenarios where there needs to be some positions eliminated, and you can move the pieces around on the board, but there's no way to put them all back on the board. And so you put one back on, you take one off, and we're meeting with the administration to go over their final projections, what their final proposals are. But unless the state comes through with additional funding, the sad fact is that some positions will have to be eliminated. And none of these are good decisions. You know, there's valid educational reasons for saying that these are all stupid decisions. But it's the unfortunate reality of budgeting that we can't invent money. We can't print money. We're not the federal government. You know, we're to some extent reliant on the state for that. We already tax our community quite heavily, as Mr. Stevenson will say. We've approved a tax increase that will collect as much as we can statutorily from the town to continue to fund our schools. But then, you know, once that's done, we have to balance the budget as best we can and rely on the professional advice of Mr. Moore to do that. So again, we don't take this lightly. Appreciate everything that you've said tonight, and we do hear you. And I'll just leave it at that. Does any of my other board members have any comments they want to make before we wrap up? No. All right, then thank you very much. Our next board meeting will be held at 6:30 p.m. on May 6, 2024. This meeting will be held in the West Orange High School Library Media Center. We will not be going into executive session after the close of this meeting. There will be no further business discussed and no additional action will be taken. May I have a motion to adjourn? May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Ivker. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Bryant. All in favor? Aye. All right, thank you all for joining us tonight. Our meeting is now adjourned. We wish you a good night.